Greetings and salutations. So the topic for today, Dragon Age Origins and what the hell is wrong with it. Because I'm getting a little tired of seeing all these things going on about how Dragon Age 2 is such a bad game, is nothing compared to the original. I've already covered Dragon Age 2, what I thought of it in my very first Rambling video. So to even things out, I pointed out what was good about Dragon Age 2. Now it's a point out what was bad about Dragon Age Origins. So let's get on to the main thing that people seem to be complaining about, the lack of Origin choice in DA2. What difference does that really make in Origins? You get a cosmetic look for your warden, and a male, female, human, elf or dwarf. In the grand scheme of things, how it affects the storyline is not really. For the Kuzlans, you have incentive to go after Brendan Howell for what he did to your family. For the Dailies, you get reunited with Tamlin, I think it is. No, not Tamlin. With the companion you get at the start of the Origin. The most harrowing of all the beginning of the Origins is that of the city elf where your wedding is ruined in one of the darkest ways possible. And you get to confront the man either responsible for it if you did not kill him beforehand, later on when you return to Denver. But the origin that seems to have most impact for the NPCs around you is that of the common dwarf. Being a duster, you are saved from a fate that's worse than death by Duncan, never to return to Orzammar. But you do, needing their help. And you are treated with this disdain by the guards you initially refused entry to the proving grounds. As far as I know, I have yet to play the Harmond quest line which sends you back to the proving grounds to test your might against the others. Will you be able to return to it as a duster who's been kicked out? I don't know. I haven't done it yet. But ultimately, the whole atmosphere is against you, and it's only your status as a warden that allows you to continue on. So ultimately, the Origins is just cosmetic. Now let us move on to topic number 2, a topic I have already covered, and that is the freedom of your choice, and combining with the storyline. What your choices actually do to the storyline. You choose 2 sets of rulers, you recruit at least 3 different armies, 4 if you go for the golems, but in the end, is it all that much difference? Things are set. This is the limitations of the game. Possibly of many games, but DA Origins really has a false sense of freedom with your choices. You are limited to these tasks. You are broken into 3 acts: Origin and Ostagar, recruiting the armies and facing the Landsmeet, and then finally the end game. Ultimately, does this make much choice? Do you affect that story all that much? I think I've already said it, but no, you do not have this grand effect on it. You are pretty much right along with the tide. You are slave to the storyline, slave to the characters you have to talk to make to survive, to continue the story, to make things progress. You do not have a choice to go with anyone else but Elam's plan. You may screw up with his plan later on when it comes to appointing a ruler, but ultimately you still need him. You need to get the armies of either the mages or the Templars, the dwarfs, depending on who you put on the throne. And then there's where you head into the forest for either the Dailies or the werewolves. And of course, with the dwarfs, you also get the choice of the golems, the paragon of a kind. But still, it's just simply aesthetics, and changing out a melee unit for a ranged unit. In the end, not a grand bit of difference. People have been complaining about you cannot talk to your companions whenever you want. Now, this doesn't really bother me in Awakenings or DA2 for the simple fact that every now and again you will talk to click on your companions at a bad time, say, in the middle of a fight. Right, was in my first run, doing Zevon's little quest line, when you're facing off against the crows, I actually clicked on him, and what it happened? He talks about our relationship. He apparently fallen in love with me, or whatever it is at the time. I just seem to keep running into this bug. But unless I shut it down, shut down any chance of romance, it will register as starting. So that fight happens. I click on him. He talks about it. I break it off. We still win the fight. And then I let him go because that's what he wanted. Ultimately, it is more realistic, I feel, that not everyone will want to talk to you whenever you want to, when they're most happy. Because let's put it this way, for DA2, when people are talking, especially with Fenris and Anders, these things are private. They're not going to talk about you just anywhere. Now, talking to your companions in Origins, yes, some key points are good to talk to, certainly after you've done a certain quest, but still, just to be badgering your companions just to talk at any moment when you're ready to get a move on, not so good. So yeah, I kind of welcome that change where you can't talk to them all the time. We get to the pace of plot. Because it seems to be that in the BioWare games at least, you progress at the stage which you get things done at. You move at the pace of plot rather than the pace of peril. And that doesn't sit well with me, because supposedly the Darkspawn blight is spreading over Ferelden, and you can dilly-dally all you want, performing side quest after side quest, getting them all done before you do even the main quest if you want, and it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. By all rights, by the stage you're hitting Denerim, for the final few things, the places should be overran by Darkspawn. You can see the dark spots spread over the map, but yet you could so easily move through them. Take for example the indie game FTL Faster Than Light. Now there's a game where you're against the clock. Every move you make usually results with an approaching fleet chasing after you while you're trying to keep ahead in your own little ship. This is a thing I would probably like to see in Dragon Age, where you have to make important choices because you just do not have the time to dilly-dally. Put some sense of peril into this. Make it important that you are using your time wisely. It's really using time wisely to the end game. I noticed that with BioWare games at least, the end game seems to fall flat. For Origins, it's just a long, engaged battle over 5 or 6 different areas against wave after wave of Darkspawn of varying types. You kill off 3 different generals, then you work your way through the keep, get to the Archdemon. It's dull, it's long, the combat mechanics doesn't help because it is slow, clunky and awkward looking. Or at least the Dragon Age 2, even if overdone, is fast and fluid. So, yes, I feel there is a problem with that. It is a hindrance. Okay, the big one I just remembered is the game crashes. It crashes a lot. This little fault in the program has never been patched up, never been able to fix in a mod. And let me tell you something about the modding scene. If not for the modding scene, so much would have been left out of the game itself. Certain key event, certain dialogue options are missing. So you just look over Tumblr and YouTube and you'll probably find a boatload of missing dialogue that was never asked, that it actually is in the game, but the triggers are missing. Getting Alistair to talk furthermore about the joining ritual. Rin's remarks about the warden using blood magic during retaking the tower. Even Logain, if you take him as a companion, remarking about, I would never imagined I would ever see you as a friend. There's a lot missing from the game, and the modding community makes this game, which is good on its own, could have been better if more If these things had actually been finished, the modding scene makes it shine. But still, that thing about crashing still persists. So yes, this is my problems with DA Origins. It's still a good game, but even good games have faults with it. It is not perfect. There are things missing from even rumours of another Origin that would involve Redcliffe, and don't even get me started on the DLC. And let's put it this way. The plot isn't anything amazing about DA Origins. You happen to be this person at the wrong place at the wrong time, but yes, you are the right person to make a difference. To unite the country. To combat the Darkspawn and save the day. But what the hell are you doing through it? Oh, I heard people complain about Logain and all them. Not just other characters doing bad things, but yet they were doing bad things for good reasons. They were devoted to their country, to say, doing all they can to save it when the odds were against them. The plot isn't what sells the game. The gameplay doesn't really sell the game for me. It is the characters, it's the background, it's the world. We can see so much development that has went into the dwarven cult of the characters, the colour. It's just a shame that the person in charge of it has a habit of putting a foot in her mouth, pissing off a lot of people for either wrong reasons or the right reasons. So, here it is. My reasons why Dragon Age Origins is not a brilliant game. What is wrong with it? What could be improved? What could be improved to make it an absolute stellar game? The biggest of all is the technical things. Stop it from crashing as often. And for crying out loud, put the things you left out back in. There's so much depth that can be had that has been lost. So yes, if you disagree with me, feel free to leave a comment if you do this. But this isn't going to change my mind. This is how I feel about the game. Good game, still play it now and again. But in my book, even with its lack of polish, Dragon Age 2 is the better game. So this is the Raven signing out.